BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to have a look at just everything. Basically a bit of an overview of everything. It's Friday, so last day of the trading week for normal markets, but basically crypto moves on. So there is a live stream tonight if you want to join that. Patreon, links in the description below. So let's get started on the total. This is just total. So not total 2, not total 3, it's total. The entire market cap of crypto sitting at 2.5 billion. So based on the daily, it's reasonable to assume that we can come down a little piece here, just a little piece to base off the fact that we've got above all moving averages on this daily here. Coming down by another 1.5% wouldn't be a big deal at all. I mean, these moves are smaller than even that of Bitcoin, really, for the most part. And if you're going to get a move back up, it would be from that area. So a little bit further down before another move back up is fine. At the moment, we are also recognizing that this could be a lower high, so that you've got to play devil's advocate. You know, trading isn't about having one. It's got to work in this one way. There is no way we'll ever do anything other than what I say. No, not at all. There's plenty of ways it could work, but my preference is always moving averages and momentum. But we can't get away from the fact that there is a significant resistance there. A break from that resistance to take us back up to the previous high, 2.67, and probably beyond that, really. When it comes to the bearish divergence, it's already happened, really. You'll probably get another drive if we make a new high, but that way we'd have to make a new high to do that. I think most of this momentum's cooled off at this point on the daily, so we'd be looking for it to break out sooner rather than later. The daily, again, offering further upside, basically 65% more likelihood of it playing out to the upside because you're above the Bollinger Band, but you do have to break this major resistance, which is again more or less where we are right now, and getting rejected from while we're making this video. So that is basically the total. There's not much more to it than that. There's no breakout of momentum or anything like that taking place on the money flow index. In fact, the money flow index and the RSI is all just consolidating with the price action, which is fine. So we've got lower highs, but we've also got higher lows. So, you know, what is that? It's a symmetrical triangle, isn't it? That's what we've got going on over here. And a symmetrical triangle gives you a 50-50. The apex looks like it wants to end between today and the weekend, really. The sooner the better. So if we break out from here today, I would imagine we get immediate continuation on this chart to new... Is that an all-time high? Probably is, actually. No, of course it's not. What am I talking about? Altcoins are dragging it down. But a new local high. And a bounce, I would say, be here. Now, you probably noticed this. I don't know whether this is something we should take seriously, but there is a trend signal that's been generated over here on the Ichimoku cloud. So first we had a pump signal that pumped all the way up here. It might as well have been a trend signal, to be fair. It cancelled out over here and then reignited over here. Cheeky span above the price action above the cloud. That is a trend signal. I just find it strange not strange. I mean, these things happen all the time. I prefer not to take those things on board if there's been a fresh cancellation and then a new trend signal. But it is a signal all the same. But it's not the ones I prefer would be through a sideways period of accumulation, then a trend signal. Not a massive pump and then a trend signal, but we do have it. Looking over here, back on the weekly, there has been bearish divergence on the money flow index, none on the RSI. So I think that there is a good chance that we do continue on this one to a new local high. Obviously, we're pulling back a little bit right now. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance, because again, we're just trying to get a brief overview of what's going on over here. So it's still bullish, to be honest with you, pushing this level of resistance. If whether Bitcoin breaks out and leaves alts behind, or Bitcoin pulls back and alts get smashed, this does look like it wants to break from here. And if that's the case, there was this major resistance over here. I'm surprised to see it being so much of a problem, but it was a problem. The 55% dominance, 55 and a 55, so that's where we'll be going. So we're 54 right now, moving up 1% to 55. My main excitement period will start happening over here at 57.5% dominance, and if we just zoom out on a weekly, we can see that there is some reason to be excited around there. Big move around here, and obviously a big move up here, obviously a breakdown. So I'll be looking for these areas to be exciting. Yeah, 57.5, and if you're lucky, we get Bitcoin dominance all the way up to 64. That can happen. I mean, I'll give you, obviously you probably thought about it yourself, but let's just say Bitcoin pumps and then everything consolidates. You would expect the dominance chart to raise all the way up to those levels, to be honest, in that period. And then it will be by the dips, well, not by the dips, but accumulation really, the higher we go. For altcoins specifically, that's what would bring you there. So let's have a quick look at Bitcoin, what you're doing at the moment, Bitty. Right, so Bitty's coming down to the 21 exponential on the daily, on the on the 4 hourly. That's an area of significance. We saw a ricochet here, and obviously moved up. Actually did make a candle body local high, which is good. We're pulling back now, it's not a big deal. And then similar to the total 2, we could come down a tiny snippet here to the tune of, well, I mean, I say a tiny snippet. It's small on the chart, but in reality, you know, it's over $1,000 really. It's another 2% down. And that would be where you'd be looking to catch a bounce on there. So it does look okay for me to say that we're going to break out from here. We've got the breakout of the descending or symmetrical triangle, whichever way you want to cut it. We have got a breakout here. And so I am looking for it to move up. One thing you could think about would be looking at, all right, so there is horizontal, what am I talking about horizontal? A diagonal support, all part of this formation. And you'd be looking for this to get tagged at the bottom zone. So if we were to lose these moving averages, the 21 exponential is around there as well. And you'd be looking for this to get a bounce around here as well. So the lowest will be going, I would say, while remaining bullish, $67,000. It would probably be worth, I would say, trying to take a leverage position. The Ichimoku clouds, same setup here on the daily. Negative cross followed by a positive cross above the cloud with cheeky span above price. Again, it's a trend signal as well. It is a trend signal. So, yeah, it is what it is. I wouldn't take too much notice on it. It is just a signal that I probably is worth recognizing that it is something, but it's also not the best thing you've ever seen in the world. Momentum is breaking out. It's got a breakout of RSI, breakout of the money flow index. I mean, you know what I'm talking about when you see this breakout, and we're looking to hopefully make a positive cross above the 0 point on the MACD, which again would be a breakout of momentum back down there as well. So that'd be a quadruple breakout. You know, price action, RSI, money flow index, and MACD all at the same time should bring us back up. And I would be looking to the top of this range, around the $76,000 zone for exit points or caution points, really, for any altcoin that you might be in at that point. Just because, you know, a rejection at that level, you know, even though it might not mark the top or the peak, because I don't know how high it's going to go, I look at that as an area of resistance. To be honest with you, the Bollinger Band itself, it would be an area, so we're talking 74, but if we do wick higher than that, it'd be about 76 to 77. But the momentum's good. I know it's not reflecting on right this very moment in time. We're down 1%, 2% on XRP, and Bitcoin's down 0.73%. Yeah, it's just another opportunity to buy the dip, or, you know, try to take a position along, or whatever it is that you want to do. I'm not saying that you should do any of those things, but that's all it is, and we'll be looking for another move back up. But let's not get too complacent. You know, we're about to close the month, aren't we, today? So I would expect volatility in traditional markets anyway. Not just closing the month; it's a new quarter, isn't it? We're entering into Q2, so let's just respect that and sit and wait for entries to become more tantalizing, which again is only a tiny smidgen away from where we are right now. I still like the market, honestly. It's still a good market, bit by bit, buy the dip, sell the rip, and yeah, don't get complacent, because a consolidation will be coming at some point soon, and I'll be looking for a consolidation to come since December. But level by level, we'll keep going up. S&P, everybody, all keeps going up, and it can't keep doing it forever. But for the moment, it does keep doing it. So we just have to respect that. Okay, there's nothing much more you can say about it. When money goes in, the price goes up, and we are rallying across the board for pretty much most things. It won't carry on like this for too much longer. I am expecting a consolidation at some point this year, but How deep it will go, I don't know. Is it going to be initiated by a black swan? I don't know. If it was to be initiated by if there was a black swan involved in this, it would give the Fed and other central banks the go-ahead to lower rates, which I think they're desperate to do. They're just not willing to do it because they can feel black swans around their heads too. And if that's their only superpower to lower those rates, they're going to wait until they need to do it. They're not just going to do it because they woke up one day and goes, I think it's time to do it. No, they'll be like, all right, look, let's face it, rates aren't even that high. They're higher than they used to be, but they're not actually that high. So, you know, maybe you could call it a superpower. It's basically the only thing that they've got that has any kind of realistic, tangible effect on the money supply and borrowing rates and stimulating the economy and supporting the housing market and all these sort of things. It's the only thing that they can do. And if you're sitting at 5.5–6% interest rates, you can't lower it too much before you're back down to where you started from with the same problems that you started with. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Not much more to say about it than that. I think we're bullish. Yeah, we'll see. I think we're going to move up to a new all-time high on Bitcoin, but we'll see. And if we're going to do it, I would expect us to do it within the next few days. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.